So I've put this total in one part, right? Then it says how many pins are blue. Well, that's what I have left, right? So how many pins are blue? So I can put that here, right? So with manipulatives, which is always our first step with kids when they're not used to doing this, we want to start here. So that's how you would do that. You start with your total. There's 7 pins in all. 5 pins are red. The rest are blue. How many pins are blue? That's 2. And then we can have them talk about the proportionality, and this part is smaller than this part. Once we have this, have them draw it. And drawing it, they're going to draw it right there in that box, which is what the problem asked them to do. But they were able to do this with manipulatives first.
So once they've done it with the manipulatives, they draw what they have complete.
Yeah. And so the way that it would be drawn would be the 5 with the line closer to the right, the 2 here. And then you might put another unit bar on top, or what the kids are going to get used to seeing by 3rd grade like that. Okay. And so this is the way on the STAR test in 3rd grade. If it's going to give them answer choices that are 4 different strip diagrams and say which of these strip diagrams represents the problem, they're going to have to know that it would be the one that looks like this.
And it would have the whole underneath?
It would either have the whole underneath
Or on top. Remember I told you in your books on the STAR, it's going to be underneath or on top. When you teach the kids to do it, have them do it to the sides, and that way they've been exposed to both. Because in high school, they're going to want it out here. But at elementary and middle, it's still going to be here or here.
So if you look at your poster up there, it's on top, but on STAR or CDBs, you might see it on bottom. So you want them to see both ways.
So if that same problem had said, instead, that there were 5, said there were 5 blue pins, there were 7 pins total. How many, well, that is what the problem said. How many red pins were there?
2.
That would have been what I would have done to make it look that way, right? So then I would have 5 plus n equals 7 is my equation, right? And to solve, I have to do 7 minus 5 equals 2. Does that make sense?
Right.
I had 5 blue pins, then I bought 2 red pins. How many pins did I have altogether? Then I have 5 plus 2 equals n, is your equation. But you see how the equation matches exactly whatever the picture is in the strip diagram.
Right.
Two ribbons are purple, so I can ask the kids, is that all or a part? They're going to tell me it's a part. So then how is that part 2 related to 6? So I can have that conversation with them. Is 2 half of 6? More than half or less than half?
No, that less.
Okay, so I'm going to go to less than half. There's my 2, and I know that those are purple, right? The rest are.
So, but before we'd even get to all of this, just that total, for them to understand what that is before they decide what is it that I have to do in this
That's
operation.
why we start there. So I'm taking it to the next step. You would be doing this for a while until they understand that. Once they don't need that anymore, then you can start here. Okay? But you don't want to, if you start here, you've lost half your class. You have to be using manipulatives with your kids till they've got it, till they understand it.
So when you get here, I would use this and then have them draw that. And once they start getting used to doing it here, then they can transfer and start doing the abstract. But they're gonna struggle if they have no hands-on referral to what they're actually doing to the strip drawing.
Total. Well, no, it's part.
Part.
Well,
You read the
yeah,
whole thing.
right. So we'd have to read the whole
So
thing.
he buys 5 fish. Remember, the first step is always to read everything, right? David has 5 fish. He buys 4 more. That's my other part, right? Sarah, uh-oh,
Mm,
I need
two
another pipe
bars.
cleaner.
2 bars.
Sarah has 2 fish, right? How many more does she need to buy to have the same number as David?
In the closet.
So if I were to make this one look like this one, these 3 would have to come over here. Now how many do I have over here? Here's my answer, right? So you can
Sure.
see how with manipulatives, how easy it is for them to figure that
Right.
out. That's why
So
we
there's-
always say,
So show it
get those
to me.
manipulatives out.
Because they're trying to make it
So-
equal.
So starting from scratch
Right.
with that problem.
And trust me, we have manipulatives. When the new adoption math came out, other schools were giving away their math
Kits.
kits. I got them all.
Did you? Oh, we didn't even know that.
We have manipulatives,
You have place value blocks?
pretty sure.
Okay.
Probably the ones that they have.
David has 5 fish.
You need more
1, 2. Well, first thing I did was say, is that all or part?
number.
Apart.
So I put it here on David. Because, well, you know what? Let's do this. First things first, let's follow the steps. We're gonna read the whole problem. David has 5 fish, he buys 4 more. Sarah has 2 fish. How many more does she need to buy to have the same number as David? So then step 2 is, who am I talking about in the problem?
David
And
is her.
So that tells me I need 2 sentence strips with a pipe cleaner. So now I have David and I have Sarah, right? So that would have been the first step. I skipped that. So then David has 5 fish, and y'all told me that that's a part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He buys 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sarah has 2 fish. 1, 2. How many more does she need to buy to have the same number as David? Well, if I match these 2 up, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more she needs to have the same number as David.
So would you also move that pipe cleaner, that red one, over
So,
and then
yeah,
put in the 7?
yeah. And I would move this one that way just a hair.
Would you pull the 7 down?
You
Or
could,
leave it?
you could. Although what I did was matched these 2 and then just counted on. Because that first grade counting on is a strategy that they.
Instead of having them put more, or having them grab more manipulatives to put on there?
You could do it this way, and then you could say, make sure, now that you have 2 here, make
Right.
sure that there's 1 to match. You could do it that way too.
Especially at the
Either way's fine.
beginning.
Either way's fine. So you could do 1, 2, 3 to match those 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 to match those 4. How many more did she need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have them count there too.
You will have some kids at this level, once they set the problem up, they can show you how they
Mm-hmm.
figure it out.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
what their thinking is.
Right.